Hi, thanks for tuning in. This is the US Futures Weekly Chart Analysis for the week ending 13th of October 2023. First chart, as usual, is the US Dollar Index Futures. Here's the lows of the range we've been looking at for some time now. I usually mark it as a zone like that. This is the zone, the highs of the range. Now, this week, price moved back. It tested for supply here. It found supply to be low, and you can see that in the reduced volume this week. And that allowed price just to push up to close higher for the week, to close as an up bar. This is quite a positive bar. It's certainly not negative. It suggests that selling pressure is not strong when price pulls back. And the path of least resistance is to the upside, and that should allow price to continue to edge higher. Now you've got the next zone above up here around the 110 level. You'll probably find there is some ongoing resistance up to the highs of this bar within this current range. So price may just edge higher, at least initially, and grind higher before the resistance begins to ease in this sort of zone. And that would allow price to move right up to this level here if selling pressure continues to be low. And above that, for anyone interested, would probably be up here. And that's in the 112 level with like a little gap of less selling pressure inside it, like that. So there's your zones above. At the moment, this market is looking more positive than negative and likely to go higher unless some new selling pressure emerges. Next chart is the E-mini S&P. This is S&P 500 index futures. The lows of the range are here. You can see we had some buying support come in 3 weeks ago, and then in response to that, a little mini shakeout. And in response to that, price attempted to move higher this week. It did draw out some supply, only modest supply I expect, because volume, while it was reduced, it was still average, and that supply has brought price back to close pretty much at the lows of the range. Most likely outcome next week is a secondary test for supply, probably like that. And I expect it'll be similar to this bar, but with a reduced spread or range and volume to be reduced as well. Next chart is the 10-year note futures. We had an up bar this week after 5 weeks of price accelerating lower. Look at that acceleration. Look at that strength in the downside. Down here, the volume increasing week after week. I guess we had to get an up bar at some point. It's not a particularly strong up bar. Price tried to push higher, but some supply has been drawn out. That's caused a mid-bar close. And you've had a bar similar to that here, and there was 6 weeks of consecutive down bars here prior to this up bar, which closed off its highs as well at mid-bar. And then we've had the current 5 bars of price accelerating lower. This bar is almost like a relief bar where price just moves higher. We'll see if it can be sustained. I'm doubting it can be, and I expect price will probably continue lower to some extent, or at least consolidate sideways at very best. Next chart is copper price futures, and the lows of the range come through here. You can see that buying support did emerge last week, and this week price has traded as an inside bar for the whole week on reduced and below average volume. So selling pressure was relatively low in this market this week. There was no strength being shown, but weakness appears to have evaporated, at least to some extent. That allowed price to trade as an inside bar for the whole week and did not draw out much supply. So this was a consolidation bar. It was a bit of a nothing bar. It's not telling you that price is going to go higher, really. is telling you that supply has dried up and prices moved sideways. And I would expect that'll probably continue again next week. Gold price futures, lows of the range come through here, and you can see price accelerated lower, found some support here, and prices moved higher this week in kind of a buy the offer fashion. If price moves considerably above that level, we'll have what you could probably bank on being a 3-bar reversal, which should act as a 3-bar shakeout. You'll need price to accelerate higher, or at least push above this level to confirm it. There may be a test to see its strength before price moves higher. And the next higher range would come through here like this. So if this proves to be correct, and this is a 3-bar shakeout, then you'll see price actually move up to this level, I expect, prior to there being any more serious resistance. And the serious resistance will come from this sort of area here. Silver price futures, you've got the lows of the range coming through here. Now gold is up at this level here. This market has really only moved up to the lows of the range. Now often this market has exaggerated moves. The highs of the range really come through here. This was a bit of over-enthusiasm here. This was actually supply being drawn out. This was over-enthusiasm. This was a bit too much enthusiasm in the market. People were getting a bit carried away, pushing above this level. The price has really only moved up to the lows of the range this week, and volume wasn't even at the average line. So it was a bit of a weak move, more following gold than leading gold this week. So if gold continues to be strong, you'll probably find this market will move up to this level. And if gold actually tests for supply next week, which is quite possible, then this market will probably do the same, and you'll get a bar that looks more like this. Light crude price futures recovered somewhat this week. The market moved into consolidation mode for a reasonable part of the week, and price traded sort of in this level here. It did move higher initially and then spent 3 days in consolidation mode before accelerating higher late in the week. Volume was quite high. Now the lows of the range come through here, just there. That's where prices pushed up to. I expect there will be some increased resistance in this area here. There were some pretty high volumes that were traded there, and they got trapped when price pulled back here, or they at least might have been trapped when price pulled back. So there might be some supply in here, and you'll get a good guide as to how strong this market really is. If price pushes back into this zone with relative ease, or it does so with high volumes with force, then this market really is going to be strong. But if the market instead perhaps tests for supply and then grinds its way higher through here, more like this, then the market isn't quite as strong as if it really accelerated higher like that. So we'll get a bit of a guide, a bit of a way to judge how strong the underlying market really is. There's a good chance price will test for supply at least early next week, because volume was pretty high this week. And when you get high volumes like that, especially prior to a weekend, the market will often come back just a little bit and see how much selling pressure is in the market prior to any resumption of the previous direction, which was later in the week pushing higher. So this is a good way to judge the strength or weakness in the market, with the supply probably being just above where price closed for the week, and a good strong bar recovering from this down bar later in the week. This is Euro US dollar currency futures, and here's the lows of the range. We saw some buying support come in here, and then a test for supply or mini shakeout the week after. And in response, price attempted to move higher just in the highs of this bar, but the strength in the US dollar later in the week caused supply to be drawn out. Price closed down for the week. It's still within these bars range, so all is not lost, but it does suggest that the weakness in this market is going to continue, or it's more likely to continue than not. You can see all of this selling pressure coming in. Every time price attempted to move higher, selling pressure was drawn out and the market continued to drift lower. And that looks like it may continue to happen. There's a level that comes through here just below where price is at the moment, and that's probably where price will head to if the weakness continues. British pound currency futures. The lows of the range are here. You can see, similar to the euro, that buying support came in here, and there was a similar test for supply come mini shakeout, and price attempted to move higher in response. But very similar to the euro, supply was drawn out as strength emerged in the US dollar, and that forced price back down. And although the market remains within the range of this buying support, it looks less strong now. You have to say that in this market at least, volume was reduced and below average, so selling pressure wasn't really strong. It wasn't overwhelmingly strong, and price isn't at the lows of the range yet. In fact, you've probably got last gasp support coming down to that level. So you may see price just drift lower and continue to resist breaking down at least, and attempt to consolidate sort of in this level here. So this market may be just a little bit stronger than the euro at the moment. Aussie dollar currency futures effectively broke down again this week. There's the lows of the current range, and the range to the left pretty much come through there, down to here. And that's the support range we're looking at, the previous support range. And price had been sitting on top of that for a number of weeks and holding on as best it could. But price has penetrated into this zone this week, and I expect the market will probably attempt to find support sort of in this level here. That's right where price has moved to. A break below 62 would really be significant in this market. I'd have to go searching to see what the next level lower looks like. So I expect the market will attempt to consolidate within this range in here, at least for a period. Bitcoin futures. Bitcoin futures have what appears to be an accumulation in the background, and there's the highs of the range. Here's the highs of the next higher range. Price has been trading just above this level for some time now, and it may be that the market is attempting to absorb the supply from this level here. This will be resistance above at the moment if that remains in place. But if this is sold effectively at a loss back at this level, when price attempts to move past this level, there'll be reduced supply. That might be what this is all about. We'll see. But price moved back this week. It's an attempt to test for supply. It's not a really good looking bar, to be honest, but volume suggests that selling pressure was low. There wasn't much selling pressure drawn out as price moved back. That suggests that the path of least resistance is towards the upside, not towards the downside. And there's more chance price will drift higher or push higher than there is of it coming back, because selling pressure was so low as price came back. So unless supply is going to be drawn out for some reason, if some event emerges that draws out supply, price could go lower. Barring that, the market is biased towards the upside due to there not being much selling pressure in the market. So any small amount of demand will likely push price higher. Now, if there is supply to the left drawn out from this congestion, you'll probably find the market grinds. If there's not much supply to the left, you may see price at least attempt to accelerate higher. So we'll just see how this market plays out. There was very little supply drawn out as price came back this week, and that leaves a bias to the upside in the market due to the path of least resistance being higher, not lower. We'll just see how that plays out. Just quickly back to the US dollar index futures to finish up. You've got the highs of the overall range coming through here, and the market pushed into that level, drew out some supply here, tested for supply early in the week, and then pushed higher due to there not being much selling pressure emerging as price came back. And you can see that with the reduced volume over the previous 2 weeks. I expect that there'll be some supply in this market up to this level, and if that's easily overcome over the coming week or weeks, then a push up to this level becomes much easier to achieve. That's around the 110. I don't think that once price gets above 1.7 and a bit, there'll be very much supply in this area here, and price should be able to push through that with relative ease if the market can get above this. This is 106.48, 107.2. Price gets above 107.2, it should be able to push higher with relative ease compared to this zone in here. Okay, that's my lot. Thanks for tuning in. See you again next week. Thanks again. See ya.